like it's going to be pretty hard to see this because it's fogging over from moisture coming out of the ground and the sun here heating everything up. But there's some grass blades here, at least 1.5 inches. Most of it's about 1.25 inches at least. So today we get to get a rotary mower on this.
Welcome back to another video. I just got back from the John Deere Classic this last week, and what I was doing there was filming sort of a behind the scenes thing of all the turf crew, kind of what goes on during a PGA tournament event. It was absolutely incredible. I can't wait to show you what I come up with for the video. I have way too much footage to sort through, so it's going to take me a very long time to kind of get through all that and formulate what the story is going to be out of that whole thing, but I'm really looking forward to sharing that video, so stay tuned for that coming up. But today I'm back and I definitely let things get out of hand being gone. The last time I mowed was now 8 days ago, and with low cut turf that's usually not going to be such a recipe for being able to come back and real mow again. So today I'm going to get the rotary mower out. A lot of you have asked over time, what would your lawn look like if you were using just a regular push mower instead of using a real mower? So today you're actually going to get to see that, and you'll get to kind of see what my turf looks like right at this point in the middle of summer, and with a rotary mower what it would look like compared to what I'm doing with my reel. And also, just in the nick of time, the weather decided to break and we finally got a really good shot of rainfall, just under 3 inches of rain, but that has made the grass grow quite a bit, and also the temperatures have come down into the 70s. Today a high of like 78. It's absolutely perfect summer weather. You usually don't get this in July, so we're gonna cherish it, because I was seeing a ton of die-off starting to happen on some areas near my sidewalks and out in the main part of my side yard. I got a reading of 91.2 at a 2-inch depth, and at a 4-inch depth I was around 88 degrees. So that is the recipe for cool season lawns, pretty much just croaking right in front of your eyes. Not a good scenario. So finally things have broken there, and I know the warm temperatures are coming back since it's only the middle of July right now, and usually we will have our heat until August, but any little break you can get is a good thing, because it was starting to get pretty serious with no rainfall at all and pretty serious with those soil temps. So I've not had this mower out for quite some time. So today I'm going to check the blades, probably change the blades into sharper ones. So I'm going to try both of my rotary mowers today, the Honda and the Time Master, but from my past experience I found that usually I can get a little bit lower with the Honda because it's a smaller deck. And of course these are not floating decks, which means the wider that you go, like the Time Master, you've got 30 inches there. Whenever you hit any sort of bumps or anything in the lawn, that deck, especially when it's set as low as it goes, will scalp everything pretty badly. So when you have a smaller deck like the Honda, you have just a little more wiggle room to get a little lower. And I think I can probably set that as low as it goes. And then we'll measure actually how low it is and kind of give you an idea what it looks like. But I'll definitely do a mow with the Time Master as well in some area, set it pretty much as low as it goes, and we'll see how it does as far as scalping. Or maybe I have an area that's flat enough that I can actually mow it as low as it goes. Yeah, look at all these cobwebs. Definitely has not been used in a while. These blades are not overly sharp. I believe I have an extra set of sharp blades that I'm going to put on here now, so that we make sure that when we're cutting this, especially setting it so low, you want your blades as sharp as possible. So there it is without any real mower set at the lowest setting on that Honda. I'll go get the Prism back out and we will test to see what kind of height of cut we have consistently now. So the benefits of a rotary mower in a situation like this is that you obviously have that suction, pull the grass up cuts it off cleaner. And what happens when you have longer grass with a reel mower is that you're using those rollers to constantly roll over the grass, and it starts to roll over and there's no suction there to pick it back up. Although that bed knife is coming along at whatever height, it's picking up some of the grass, there's not that actual suction to pull everything back up and cut it. The downside is that that blade spinning around so close to the ground whenever you don't have a perfectly level spot, or you have some areas there where your tires will dip in, then it's so easy to have that blade actually cut into the crown of the plant and scalp it. So that's kind of the difference there between the two mowers. That's why you can get so much lower on the reel mower, but there are some downsides, like I said, with the grass being rolled over constantly. There's some upsides, downsides to both things. Personally, if I were gonna do a leveling project and I couldn't afford a reel mower, or I didn't wanna go all in on reel mowing, then I would have no problem with this. You know, do your leveling work, get things really nice and flattened out with your renovation, and then maybe even mow at 1.5 inches with a rotary mower like this. I think it would still look really, really great. And the color is gonna be really good too, with a little bit more grass blade there compared to cutting it as low as like 1/2 inch like I do in the fall time. I just wanted to show you that today. We're gonna still test the Time Master. There's a couple other areas that have grown quite a bit, so plenty more mowing coming yet. So here's the prism, and actually it's showing right at 1 inch. But look at that cut, how everything gets cut nicely, stood up. Looks really good. So I'm actually kind of surprised that that was supposed to be cutting at 1.25 inches, and it was actually cutting at 1 inch on the lowest setting on that Honda. So I did find a few spots that'll scalp. The other thing that you'll notice, probably about a day or so afterwards, any of those grass blades that didn't get cut quite as clean as a reel mower, if there's any fraying on there, they're gonna kind of turn white the day after it dries out, and you're gonna notice that it was rotary cut. That's another thing that you would notice a little bit more. But like I said, maybe you don't go down all the way low, but maybe around 1.5 inches, somewhere in there. I think it would look pretty good. So this bluegrass out here tends to grow a little bit faster and a little bit taller. It's pretty much just one of these varieties that looks like it likes to grow taller. The other ones stay pretty compact, so I don't know exactly which one it is. There's 3 different kinds in here, I believe. Prism is showing probably roughly between 1.25 inches and 1.5 inches on this one. So what I'd like to do is come get the Time Master on this and take it through here and see how it does. Probably, like I said, not on the lowest setting, but maybe we'll try one spot along the side yard there, and if I scalp it, I scalp it, but out here, I think probably the second to lowest setting will be good. Let's try it. So this section of bluegrass over here is just a little taller, same as pretty much that front street section, but it's a little taller than the ryegrass, so right around 1.5 inches. So I'm gonna cut this now basically as low as the Time Master goes and see if I see any scalping. I wouldn't say this is exactly perfect as far as leveling, but it is fairly smooth over on this section, so I'll give it a shot. Looks like 0.70, so even lower than I expected. I'm gonna set it up 1 notch above this and see how that changes anything, and we'll test the height of cut there. Just gonna try to bring the back up 1 notch and mow with the front where it was, and then we'll test. I can definitely tell that that makes quite a bit of difference in the height of cut. Now we're sitting just exactly at 1 inch. So I actually think that's a pretty good height of cut. I actually like the way it looks right at that spot. It's not scalping into the ground from what I can tell for the most part. Obviously, like I said, this is a smooth area over here, but it's a pretty good height right there and would definitely give you a great look if you had a pretty flat yard. A couple other things I want to show you over here while I've been mowing is that the ryegrass is getting more and more noticeable over in this section as the year goes along.
All this section, so you'll see right here, that whole little circle right there, that's ryegrass. Everything around it, bluegrass. Look over here, see all these spots mixed in, here, here, here. You go over to this section, especially right here where some of this has died off. That is ryegrass right there, that whole patch. So definitely a stark color difference.
So I think what I might do this season is honestly overseed rye back into this bluegrass. We'll see how it looks by the fall time. My model stand experiments have been fun, but I didn't really learn anything crazy about it. Plus I have plenty of spots out at the new land to do anything crazy that I want to do eventually. I might try to blend the front into this side since I'm finding more and more ryegrass in it anyway, and just kind of make everything look a little more even. I haven't decided yet, but since I'm starting to see quite a bit of contamination in here and a lot of spottiness with that rye, then I might just go ahead and try to make it look more even. We'll see. So now checking the rye, as I said, this is not as long. It doesn't grow quite as fast right now, especially because we're definitely not in prime season for it, but it's still holding on to all the color so well. So for the most part, right at 1 inch. I was gonna try the Honda on here, but since that only goes to 1 inch, I'm really not gonna be cutting anything off. So I'm gonna try the Time Master at the lowest setting again and see how it does. So that was on the lowest setting, and definitely you can see a few spots that are kind of just slightly on the scalp side. I'm okay with it scalping just a little bit. I'll be back to real mowing and cutting off most of those grass blades that got a little fraying on them very soon, so I'm not worried about that. But such a thick grass up here that actually it's more that the deck is going through and hitting some of the bottom of the grass than it is the blades.
Just look at this right here. Look at the color, look at the texture, nothing like it.
So get yourself some elite ryegrass, level out that yard, plant that thing, and start cutting it low. Even if you have a rotary mower, you are going to be happy with the results. And looking at this grass right now, I would be thrilled to keep it like this without having a real mower. Now, I'm going back to real mowing because I like the striping of it. It still has a different type of look to it, and you're getting a better quality of cut. But honestly, if you don't want to spend money on a real mower, you can still get results like this, and I think you're really going to be thrilled with those results. So the backyard is a bit of a different animal. I've had it around 3 inches for most of the summer now. And with that rainfall and the fact that it got a really good soaking back here, I'm now seeing some spots that are probably right around 5 inches. So today I'm gonna go back to 3 inches on that. Not everything is at 5 inches, so there's just some wispy spots here and there that are taller, but I think I can go back to 3 inches, put the bagger on and see how it goes, and then I'll probably come back. Either today I'll do a double cut, or I might just go right away tomorrow and go in a different angle and do another cut, and that should kind of even things out and make sure that it all looks nice and tidy. Well, that was just some mowing fun today and catching up on things after I took that trip. So I've gone on a couple different trips now where I have a lot of editing to catch up on and some exciting stuff to share. So thanks so much for watching today. We'll see you next time.